Mike Wood.
Thank you, Mr Rossendale, and I congratulate the Honourable Lady, the member for East Kilbride, on securing debate on this very important issue that I know that she has worked tirelessly on for many years since she was elected to this House, both as chair of the All-Party Group on Disability, but also her work through the All-Party Group on Learning Disability. I ought to start by declaring an interest, as my wife works providing support and tutoring a child with special educational needs in Birmingham, who does receive support through the welfare system. Mr Rossendale, the COVID pandemic has had a severe impact on many children around the country, on their education, on their development and on their welfare, but it has had a particular effect on many children with speech, language and learning disabilities. And understandably, the legal obligations, some of the legal obligations on local authorities and on National Health Service were eased earlier in the year. They were eased as a necessity, really, because of, obviously, the availability of staff during the heavier stages of lockdown. I think it was a necessary step, but what it must not be is a signal that what is necessary and vital support, particularly for children and young people with disabilities, is in some way discretionary. It is very pleasing to see that I don't think there are any local authorities at all who are currently using the easement provisions, but they must only be triggered. They must only be triggered where absolutely necessary, and still, even then, all public authorities and agencies must make sure that that appropriate and suitable provision can be made with the staffing that are available. And there were many local authority and National Health Service workers who did heroic work throughout the first wave of the pandemic, and I'm thinking particularly the period between lockdown starting and schools closing in late March and the end of the summer term in July. It was a time when an awful lot was expected of relatively few people who did amazingly well, but there were still far too many children who received no specialist support during that time, and almost worse, they didn't even receive any real explanation from the various agencies involved as to why and when support was being withdrawn and when it might return. And so whilst the government is clearly right to be doing everything possible to keep schools open and to be taking the measures that are available to mean that children can continue to go to school, we need to recognise that for many children, particularly with those with the most severe and complex special educational needs, they've not been able to return to school. There are still many who are being educated or supported from home. And so it is important that a disability-inclusive COVID response must involve thinking of SEND children who are stuck at home, who are being educated at home, how agencies can evolve to support those ways of working, but also to consider the parents and the families of those children. I see my 4 minutes is up, Mr Rossendale, so I will draw my remarks to a close now. But once again, thank you for the opportunity to speak, and congratulations to the lady from East Kilbride.